Welcome to The House Hunt with Lora Cusimano. The House Hunt radio show is here to educate you on one of the largest purchases you will ever make buying your home. I have Benjamin Clark, president and principal broker of Homebuyer Representation Incorporated, an exclusive buyer brokerage and fellow NABA member in Salt Lake City, Utah, joining me today on the phone. So hi, Ben.
Hey, Laura. Hi.
I'm just going to tell people a little bit more about you. I wanted to mention that Ben, he's served as our president of the National Association of Exclusive Buyer Agents, that's NABA, in 2009 and 10. And you also served as the secretary and regional director, and you've been involved in a lot of different committees within NABA, and you're currently on the board for the director of education and our conference committee.
That's correct.
Okay. So Ben is actually a great guest to have on the show. You've been on a lot of different forums, both in print and on TV. You were on CNBC's Closing Bell and many articles, which I'm actually going to post them all on the House Hunt Facebook page.
Great.
And I do want to mention also to our guests that if you are looking to buy real estate in Salt Lake City area, you can contact Ben by reaching out to him on his phone. It's 801-999-8889. And your website is www.hmbyr.com. So it's basically the word home buyer, but leave out all the vowels, right?
Yep.
It's very cute, very clever. With that all being said, I would love for you to tell us a little bit about why you became an exclusive buyer brokerage.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, when I started out in real estate, I was primarily a buyer's agent under a listing agent, which is common. And I saw in the office that buyers were basically treated differently than sellers. Sellers primarily had listing agreements. They had legal agreements with the agents for representation, and their best interests were being looked out for. However, the majority of buyers who called into the office were non-represented, which meant that they might end up never being represented by an agent and working with the agent who represented the seller, or they might end up in a dual agency or limited agency situation, and in some states also potentially a transaction brokerage or a facilitator role where the agent doesn't really represent either party well. And I just felt like buyers needed somebody to look out for them, but I didn't really know what to do about that. Then one year I went on vacation to Palm Springs, California, came across one of those old print magazines in the grocery store that had homes for sale. But I picked one up and it didn't have any homes for sale. It just had examples of homes that this brokerage had helped buyers buy and the amount of savings that they had saved them on these particular properties. And I thought, gee, this sounds really great. They only worked for buyers. They looked out for the buyer's best interest. They gave them the full highest level of representation in every transaction. And I thought, gee, this sounds so amazing. When I get back to Salt Lake, I'll just join one of these type of companies. Well, I was a little bit naive, I guess, and when I got back to Salt Lake and tried to find one, there were none. And in Salt Lake, you have to have 3 years of experience and a brokerage license to start your own company. So I went back to real estate school, and when my 3 years was up, I formed my company and have been representing buyers only ever since.
It's funny because my story of how I got started is very similar to yours. And there's very few exclusive buyer agents in the areas that I practice too. I have seen it, and I'm sure you have too, that the numbers have increased over the years from when you started, and you started back in 2001.
Yes, that's correct.
That's great. So now you reside in Salt Lake City area, and I guess are you busy now with your spring season, or do you also have like a big vacation home season too?
So we're a dual market. Primarily in Salt Lake County, it's owner-occupied single-family homes. But very nearby, you have canyons and you have Park City, and you have lots of second home cabins and nice little getaway places. So we're kind of a dual market in that respect. But primarily here in the valley, it's single-family homes. And again, there are some second homes down here in the valley as well. But primarily, those would be in the Park City and the various canyons where you can ski and mountain bike and hike and do all sorts of cool activities. So it's a great location to live in.
It is a great location. I actually did get to go skiing in Park City a few years ago. It was beautiful.
Now you asked about how busy we are.
Yeah, how busy are you?
Definitely very busy.
You're busy with buyers, I'm assuming, but how is your inventory level right now?
So inventory, and I understand that around the country, I just read an update from the chief economist for the National Association of Realtors, Lawrence Yoon, basically says that inventory all around the country is low. And that is certainly true here as well. You know, we have some markets, and I sit down with clients when I first meet with them, and we put together their property search to determine what they're looking for. We see how many homes are available, which is lower than normal. So say we would normally get their property search down to having potentially 30 properties available, or maybe 50 properties available that all fit their criteria. You know, we're coming up sometimes with only 1, 2, 3 properties available, but we're probably getting around 6 or 7 or 8. But the interesting thing about this, is if I look back just 30 days, and I put the same criteria that has, say, 10 homes available, there are 30 homes that have sold or gone under contract in the last 30 days, which means they're selling faster than they're coming available. Wow. And it's pretty tough. So with most of our clients currently, where we used to get out every couple days and look at stuff, if they're seriously on the hunt for a home, we've got to be out to see the new listings the day they come available or the next day to even have a chance of getting an offer in. And there are lots of multiple offer situations, and we've got strategies to try and position our clients to get the best outcome in those type of situations while protecting their interest and not overpaying for the properties. So again, we do what we can, and we just have had to adjust our planning or the way that we normally go about the house hunt to fit the current market, which just means we need to go out more often for shorter periods of time with more clients to see the new inventory. So if it's good, it'll sell pretty quick. There's still inventory that lists that nobody wants to buy that sits on the market for a long time. But properties that come up that are well priced and that are desirable and in good condition, those are the hot commodity. Those are the ones that you need to take some action on pretty quickly and put your best foot forward and try and tie it up before other people get involved if possible, and try and beat out the other buyers with different stratagem that we have to position your offer as the more desirable offer.
Yeah, I have the same issues, and I've been running around. I'm constantly checking the computer for any new listings and trying to be the first person there to see them, with or without my client, just so that we could get our foot in the door first.
Right.
It's a little crazy right now. So we're going to take a little break, and then we're going to be back. Welcome back if you're just tuning in. This is The House Hunt with Lora, and I have Benjamin Clark, president and principal broker of Homebuyer Representation, Inc., an exclusive buyer brokerage and fellow NABA member in Salt Lake City, Utah. So we were talking about how you have helped clients to get a house, and we're saying that right now there's not a lot of inventory and it's a little harder. We have to go around and see things as soon as we can. So what do you explain to your buyers when they first come to your office? Because people think it's going to be like going on House Hunters and they're just going to go see a couple houses and pick the right one.
Yeah, so I have a little bit different strategy with clients, even in a normal market, and primarily in the first meeting. The goal is to help them get the best information they can so they can make the best decision, and to get comfortable with what their money can buy in the market and where they can buy and the neighborhoods and things like that. So I have kind of a 3-phase system. The first one is internet dating, and that's what a lot of them have been doing, possibly even before they've called me. But certainly once we've connected and I hook them up on the MLS and I'm sending them automated listings as they come available, that's kind of the internet dating. You see the properties in their best light. You know, the photographers have taken them, with the best light, and they've taken pictures of the best features of the house, but they may not have taken pictures of things that would deter you from going to be interested in a house. So just like internet dating, the houses are going to appear super awesome. You're going to like some of them. And then the next step is what I call the speed dating phase. And I do this because I could go out and preview houses for people, but I tell them, why don't you come along with me? So we'll go out and we'll look at houses. We'll try and fit. If you're in a small geographic area, we can do 4 or 5 houses an hour.
Right.
If you're in a larger geographic area, then obviously there's fewer homes you can see. But the goal is to expose them to what's available in their price range on the market as much as possible in a short period of time. The goal isn't necessarily to find the house on that first outing, but to get them acclimated to the market.
Exactly.
So that they know what their money can buy.
Yeah, it gives them that feel so that they know
so it's more
what to
intuitive
get.
When a house comes available that is exciting. They don't have to trust me. I mean, they can trust me, but they don't have to trust me to say this is a good deal, you should jump on it. They've seen everything that's available, and now they know, hey, this is what we want, and this is a good price. And we still do the analysis, and we make sure that they're protected and that their best interests are being looked out for and that we don't overpay. But they also feel very comfortable with it because they've done that speed dating. Some agents will take clients out out to, like you said, to 3 homes, and they'll spend a half hour selling them on features and benefits. But many clients, when they first walk in the door, can tell they would never live in the house, and they don't want you to tell them all the features and benefits. They just want to move on and find the house. So I find the speed dating method is, get in, get out, just kind of get a feel. Is this a potential contender? If it is, then just like in real life, you set up an appointment to go back and take a closer look, spend some more time, look more deeply at it, look and see if it really is the home of your dreams.
Right.
So
and I was going to also point out, you as the exclusive buyer agent, you're going to do more research on the actual property too, so that way you can give it to your client so that they can make an informative decision when they want to make an offer or not on the property.
Right. So the goal is that the client has all the information to make the best decision. So when we're at a property, I'm pointing out flaws. I will still point out a cool feature if I see it, but primarily I'm trying to get them down to earth, especially if they love a place. It's okay if it has a flaw and I point it out. If they still want to buy the house, that's great. But I don't want them to be blinded by if it has a floor plan issue and it works great for them, but it's a problem for resale, or location issue that's a problem for resale, or surroundings issue, noise or traffic or smells or things like that. I'm going to point those things out, and we're going to negotiate. Even if it's great for my client, they like the floor plan that's goofy, a certain way that fits their interests, I'm still going to help them realize that we should negotiate as if they didn't like it, because it's a downside to 99% of the buyers out there, so that we're getting the property, having the current seller take a hit for that. So when they go to resell the property, they may also need to take a hit for that, even though it works great for them now.
Right. And that's one of the huge benefits of using an exclusive buyer brokerage or an exclusive buyer agent, is you have somebody that's negotiating on your behalf when you're buying the home.
Right.
You're representing the buyer. That's why I don't know if everyone that's out there listening realizes that you want somebody that's representing you, that's taking you around to help you find the right home, to give you as much information as possible, and to get it for you for the best price possible.
Well, and to give you the whole picture of the information, you're absolutely right. When you have a listing agent or somebody whose primary job is sales and selling you a specific property, and they want the data that you'll get from them is to justify that they're asking a fair price. They obviously, just like we talked about with the internet dating, they're not going to show you data that's going to get their seller a lower price. So that's where an exclusive buyer agent comes in, really looking out for the buyer, and will provide the buyer with the data that will help them get a good price for the buyer, not necessarily just to get the deal done like the traditional sales-oriented agent may be.
And right now, with the market with low inventory, sometimes it's just a matter of getting the house for your client.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want to lose the house over $1,000 or $1,500 if it means you're going to have to search for another 3-4 weeks. If it's,
or longer,
you want to
right
be
now.
Reasonable. Luckily, in our area, even though there is low inventory and there's multiple offers and such, our appraisers learned their lesson back in 2004, 2006, and they're actually keeping the pricing from completely running away. So I think that we're about 4 to 6% appreciation, which I think is good, and I think that's sustainable. You start getting into double digits, you have your big peaks and valleys. But so I do commend the appraisers for not letting prices run amok, even though there is a lot of demand and not very much supply.
So another point that I want to bring up about the exclusive buyer agency is that you don't just send your client houses on the MLS. You encourage them to look in other avenues, other websites, other sources for sale by owners as well,
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, the primary benefit of an exclusive buyer's agent, and I don't want to diminish the importance of finding the good home, but the primary benefit is that representation. Really being on the client side, protecting their best interest, negotiating for them, using your skill and expertise to get the best outcome for the client. That being said, finding the property is probably the least important reason to hire an exclusive buyer's agent. The representation is the most important part. So as an exclusive buyer's agent, I don't care if my clients find homes on Zillow. I don't care if they find homes on the classified. I don't care if we find homes by driving neighborhoods we're interested in and seeing for sale by owners. I know that my clients are going to take care of me, and I'm going to take care of my clients. So I don't steer them to or from properties based on, that I'm going to make more money or make less money. Since I have an agreement with my clients that they'll compensate me a certain amount, I know that I'm taken care of, and I open the doors up so that we'll look at any property that's available, and we will represent their best interest on that property.
Well, Ben, I can't agree with you more, and I'm so happy that you had time to share the show with me today and talk about exclusive buyer agency.
Well, thank you. It was great to be here.
And now I'm off on the house hunt.